Hey everybody, this is a video of me talking to myself and quite literally a train of thought video about my life. And I think it's going to be interesting for me to be able to look back and watch this video just to see what kind of was running through my mind as a 26-year-old literally stuck at home with his family in Cincinnati, Ohio. You still got the bad taste in your mouth, Antony? I have it too. So I've been thinking about kind of what videos to make for a while. There's not a whole lot of options when you're stuck in the same place. But, I managed that in Japan, believe it or not. And, many people in the world, kind of their entire foundation has been changed since the epidemic started. And just looking back at the videos I was making, interacting with different people, having to negotiate my way through, or navigate my way through, taxis and subways and finding food and all of those challenging things that really pushed me every single day. But now, honestly, my life has become infinitely more convenient. I can go to the grocery store and I can read every single label and I can talk to every single person on my way there and they will understand me. I no longer have to dry my clothes by hanging them up because in America we have dryers. I don't have to cook everything on a skillet. I can put them in the oven. We have ovens here. Crazy. I took them for granted and I will never do that again. I love you, ovens. Please stay with me. That being said, anybody from Asia, how do you bake? Do you just not bake? You can't bake cookies? I guess if you have like a really good toaster oven, but really sad nonetheless. But something interesting that I think I'm kind of lucky. One, I do consider myself to be an introvert. You can find me on every Friday and Saturday night, not surrounding myself by people, with people and music. I really enjoy solitude as a time to like reflect, cope, relax. Maybe if I have like a really good friend with me, it can be a little different, one or two people, depending on those people, but not all the time. Definitely not all the time. And when I was in Asia, I was very much living a quarantine lifestyle, right? In Japan, I had a really hard time making friends, and I would work and come home to myself. I did get interaction with my students. That was nice. And I did hang out with my coworkers occasionally, but it wasn't, it is different. It is. And quite strange, if I do say so myself. But then, traveling around Asia, still relatively quarantined. I mean, you see the videos where I do have friends, but still, it's just nothing like being in college, where I'm coming from. I lived in residence halls for 6 straight years. As a supervisor and as just like living there and as an RA and stuff like that. It's not surprising that I was an RA. I know. It's exactly the way it feels right, doesn't it? But I've been thinking a lot about, I don't know, self-improvement during quarantine times. And, I think I've let myself down a little bit. I have started running and not that not that I'm being lazy. It's just, I feel that if I was putting in 9 hours of intensive work to learn something new, by this time, like, I could have known how to code, right? I could have been semi-conversational in a language. I could have learned how to read piano music, but I haven't done those things. And I'm very critical of myself, generally in life. And this is like the bigger question of if you don't challenge yourself to learn something new or do something new, you waste your own time, are you not valuing your own time? Like, do you have a moral obligation to progress yourself? There are people that have much better situations than I do, and I don't know where I'm going with that. Do people, like, this is an honest question, do people generally feel disappointed in their life accomplishments? Do they? Do you? I think the reason I'm having this kind of big different, it's just, I went from hopping to a different Asian country every month for almost half a year to being stuck in a room in Cincinnati, Ohio. The juxtaposition is punishing. It's punishing. My mother, on the other hand, loves working from home. She's doing great. So that's, people. I'm a homebody, right? This is comfortable for me. This isn't a big life change. Being in a room, being alone, kind of self-isolating already. I don't know. I do kind of want to hear from anybody. What are you doing? I mean, people always say like, oh, if I had more time, like I would catch up on reading. You know what I mean? So like, you don't commute to work anymore. So do you catch up on reading during that 2 hour time period where you're not in a car anymore? Like, so past that, something interesting that I have noticed with myself is that my taste in music's changed a little bit. I've rarely listened to K-pop right now, and I haven't really listened to K-pop since I was in China, and it was a big part of my life for about 4 years. And I don't know why. In fact, I started listening to Manchester Orchestra, who's playing right now, little bits and pieces of them. I've been listening to them my whole life since I was basically in middle school, but recently kind of got back into them, and they just have so many good songs. It's I don't know, it's just kind of weird, why do we relapse on different musicians? I mean, there's so much music out there, you know what I mean? I mean, okay, we feel comfortable with the familiar. That makes sense. But why am I feeling nostalgic, I guess? And a lot of the music is much more calm than K-pop is. I mean, I still have, like, Dahyun and J-Hope. Like, I still got them. I still love them. She will marry me. Probably. If she wants to. Another thing that's been interesting is, so I've been talking to some of my friends in Asia, and I kind of came to this conclusion a while ago, but I don't know if I said anything about it, but it's interesting that, like, I'm distinctly more liberal or feminist than they are as women. Yeah, like I mentioned in one video briefly one time, one of them called, like, prostitutes, like, she called all of them sluts. Like, just blanket statement, prostitutes are sluts. And then I asked, like, 10 female friends in America, and they were all like, oh my god, no, that's horrible. I can't believe she said that. It's one small example. But, like, how can we be so culturally similar? Like, again, like, you go to Japan, and people work. People go to the grocery store, right? So many different things. Japan loves alcohol. So does Russia. So does America, right? Like, just simple stuff like that. Cultural differences are in the little details, but how can we be so different on big scale life ideologies? I don't know. But I did hear multiple times that Asian men are hesitant to date Western women because Western women are maybe, like, much more assertive than they're used to, and they get intimidated. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. All right, I'm just gonna there. I hope one day I can, like, look back on all this and be like, I'm glad I made all of these videos. The hundreds of videos. Glad I did it. I learned a lot. Just, are we wasting time? Not this specifically, but just... Oh yeah, weed whacking. I'm gone. See you later.